unofficially used less video than the Houston Astros have in our podcast. Gotta love it. That team's a bunch of slime balls. We'll get to that. First things first. We have a tattoo contest to go over, but we're missing our main member for this thing.
Victim.
Brandon. Yep. Sorry, pal. Our winner. We both know him, but Nathan Lennox sent in the baby shark tattoo idea, and I love it. Thank you, Nate. We appreciate it.
The first good idea Nate's ever had.
It's about time. We appreciate it. I'll contact you. I'll send you the shit. I love that idea though, because it's just like the baby shark was such a big thing in the Nat series, and like he was so pro Astros for what 2-3 months. I'm like, yep, I love it. Let's go.
And Brandon's a huge Jaws guy, so it all fits in. Shark Week's his favorite week, he wants to say.
It's big Shark Week guy. Big Shark fan. Yeah, we might as well get into the Astros because we could spend about 3 hours talking about those meatheads.
Brandon's favorite team.
Oh my. I remember our first podcast on YouTube when we discussed the playoffs, and you guys were so pro Astros and how they're such great guys, and we have no reason to hate the Astros. How do we feel now, Nick?
I love them.
Yeah. Okay. Big fan of cheating, eh?
Yeah. It's hard to walk that one back.
If you haven't heard, well, basically you just go search up at John Boy on Twitter because he covers pretty much everything that's happened in that whole saga.
He's hilarious.
Incredible job. I love it. But essentially the Astros in I don't know if they haven't announced that they're still doing it, but in 2017
it's pretty clear. Nothing changed.
Yeah. In 2017 for sure it came out that Mike Fiers and who's the other one? The guy that had a blood clot and stroke and almost died, Danny Farquhar. Both of them were talking about how
the guy from Shrek?
Lord Farquhar. Yeah, Lord Farquhar of previously the Chicago White Sox. They were he came out and said that he heard banging while he was pitching, and like that was a big story. But then Mike Fiers straight up came out in an article in The Athletic. He's like, yeah, they're cheating. Like they've been cheating since I was there. Like it's still a thing. This is how they do it. This is what happens. So essentially, John Boy is all over it. So he goes into video and he pulls up the game that Danny Farquhar was talking about, and you can easily hear the banging while just after the pitch gets thrown down.
Oh, elaborate that for people who don't know what you mean. Banging.
So basically in baseball, you throw signs down with your fingers, and essentially it's not hard to pick up if you know the game because like essentially fastballs you pretty much always won. Curveball, breaking balls,
It's more about the sequence if you go 3-2-1, 1-2-3.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. But when there's no runners on base, you typically just throw the finger down because there's nobody that's going to see it. When you have runners on second, you change it up because people can steal signs, and it's a thing that happens in baseball. But what the Astros were doing is they had a camera in center field that would read these signs and that would relay to it was a media thing in between the dugout and the clubhouse. And they had a guy sitting there, and anytime someone would throw down the sign for a curveball or a changeup, they had a specific way to bang on this trash can that he was sitting beside. So I think it was 3 hits for a changeup and 2 hits for a curveball or something like that. Something along those lines. So if you go back in and you look at the Danny Farquhar sequence, it was like a 7 or 8 pitch at bat with, I want to say, Evan Gattis. And every single time he threw a breaking ball, you'd hear the bang, bang. And then you'd throw down a fastball and there'd be nothing.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to break down, and it's been going on it's a story that's not dying because things keep coming up, and it was a big story this year because the Yankees were accusing them of it, right? That was where it all kind of started. What do you think? I
got a couple things just to add before we get into bashing them. Obviously, well, for anybody who doesn't really know or hasn't played a high enough level of baseball where signs come into play like that, guys standing on second steal signs at every level. That's baseball. That's whatever. That's gamesmanship, I would say. Yep. Chalk it up to the game, whatever.
Yep.
The minute that you go to cameras and you have all these hidden techniques, that's where it's cheating to me, and that's where it's wrong. And for anybody who doesn't know, just standing from a batter's perspective, if you're sitting there fastball and this guy's, say Danny Farquhar, he's throwing 94, 95, little bit of sink action, you're sitting on a fastball, and then you know a changeup's coming, we're talking like 86, maybe 85, low in the zone because you don't throw a changeup up, and
Yep.
you're sitting on that. You know what's coming. That's
Yep.
over 10-mile-an-hour difference. You're ready to
Yep.
go. You're locked in. You're hitting that ball. Either you're
It's
fouling it off or you're getting a hit. Like, it's such an advantage. People that
yeah.
don't know baseball that well are trying to say, oh, whatever. Like, it's not like they're like, it's not performance enhancing. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's so
If
the big one.
over half the struggle of batting is you don't know what's coming. Guys
Yep.
have 5 pitches, you don't know what's coming, you don't know how to react, and that's what brings out the best batters. Someone who
Yep.
can read
The
counts and foul shit off.
the biggest one for me is if you go back and you look at, I think it was Game 6 in the World Series against the Dodgers. There's a sequence with Clayton Kershaw, and Clayton Kershaw is one of those guys that relies on misdirection of like, am I throwing a fastball? Am I throwing a curveball? Because if you've never watched Clayton Kershaw, go check out his curveball. That thing's the most disgusting thing you'll ever see.
And
And
he's deceptive.
you can't pick it up. You have no idea when he's going with it.
Mhm.
But when you watch the videos that they play through, you can hear the banging, and then you see him drop a hook, and you watch guys like Bregman and all these guys that are good hitters. They're sitting on it, and they know it's coming, and they wait back. And it's a lot easier to hit breaking pitches when you're waiting on it because
if you're expecting a breaking pitch, your entire approach is different.
yeah, it's because Kershaw throws this breaking ball maybe 85.
No,
Like
I would say even less, but I don't know off the top of my head. But it's got like
I don't have
3 foot drop on it.
It drops
It's
a
one
lot,
of the best
but
pitches of all time, and these guys are sitting back. They're dropping the back shoulder, waiting on it, adjusting, and timing it up perfectly. And it's like, that has never happened.
No, the difference for me is like it's like a 15 mile an hour difference. So you have that extra time. You know where the ball's going. It doesn't matter that it's going to drop 3 feet. You know he's got ridiculous movement on this pitch. So you have that extra 10 to 15 mile an hour to sit back and be like, okay, here it is. Start your motion then, and you're gonna tee off on that.
When you know it's a curveball versus a changeup or a fastball, regardless of where it starts, you know where it's ending up.
Yep, exactly. Most MLB pitchers are consistent with their breaking pitches. You know how much
you're not throwing a curveball high. You're not throwing a changeup high. You're not throwing a slider high.
Yep.
Once you hear that approach.
You hear that bang bang, you're looking down on the bottom half of the zone and you're waiting back an extra half a second almost because you can, right? It's a lot. Like I'm not sure where to start with it. I think it's a slime ball move from the Astros.
I will say,
yeah.
Again, before we start bashing them too hard, shout out to Fires for releasing this.
Good for you,
that
man.
Takes I bet he's been sitting on it for a while. Obviously, he's known he's been there. And to me, what stood out from what he said is he's not doing it for himself. He's not doing it for his team to get an advantage. He said it's taking away jobs from guys.
That was my favorite quote from him.
That was me too. He said starting pitchers who come up from the minors, you might only get one kick at the can. Baseball is a cutthroat business. If you get lit up your first start, you may never see the majors again.
There's like 25 other starting pitchers behind you in your organization.
Exactly. You can be down and up and press of a button, and he's saying it's taking away jobs from guys because you come up and probably it's your first game working with this catcher. You have easy signs, as you said, simple 1, 2, 3. If teams are taking videos, taking pictures, relaying the images, relaying the signs, you have such an advantage over this guy who's already nervous. He's in a tough spot, and you're spotting him up 5, 6 spot, whatever. He's not pitching again. He just lost his track at the majors because you were cheating. At the
very least, you're going back down to AAA for a handful of months until you can prove again that you can come up. And it's not fair. Like just because these guys had that advantage on you, it's not because if you look at the difference between minor league salaries and major league salaries, that's a big thing too, right? Is that there's guys. So there was a story that came out this week. It was the major league salaries going up $8,136 or something like that a year. And there's this one guy that retweeted it. He was a minor league player in his whole career. And he goes, yeah, there were years that I didn't even make that in the minors at like $8,100. So it's like
is the biggest salary disparity in the league or out of all the major sports between majors and minors. And the minor leagues for baseball are a bigger grind than any sports. Like, for those who don't know, you're on a bus every day. You're crossing the country. Like,
you're not flying anywhere.
Crappy hotels. You're sleeping on air mattresses, like Juan Soto was. Like, baseball in the minors is the biggest grind in professional sports, and they are the least well compensated out of any major sport.
Yeah, And my whole point of that is, so you have this kid that he was making $8,000 in AA, came up to the majors where you now have to make $536,000 a year or
He's
something like
making
that.
over that $8,000 a day.
Yeah. So instead of doing that, because you cheated him out of it, he has to go back down and make
Yeah.
absolutely nothing in the minors. And like, it's just not fair to these young kids that have a chance to do that. And
Yeah.
it
And yeah.
sucks.
Overall, I respect the hell out of Fires for coming out with
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And
Thank you,
like,
Mike.
yeah, I
Good for
think
him though, man. Like, you never had to do that. Like, there was no reason for you to do
no,
that because he was on that team. And if punishment comes down, there's a strong chance it goes down against him too. If they decide to go after the players as opposed to the team as a whole,
yeah,
which it's possible. I don't think that's what they do, but there's always a chance that, you know what, you could be suspended for this. And he didn't care. He's just like, he's looking out for the rest of the league essentially. And I love that. I
yeah.
love that he's not, look at me. It's just like, let's make this league better for what it is.
I'm real curious as to how this ends up. Like, I think at this point it's all but given they were cheating.
Yep.
If you
Everyone,
want to
everyone.
argue how long, maybe they can work their way out of that. Maybe they can say, hey, it was just that year, we stopped, all that, whatever. I'm sure they have their loopholes, they have their ways out.
Sure.
But
Sure.
baseball, in particular, out of all the major sports, it's pretty heavy with their discipline. Like, you
Yep.
think about the lifetime bans,
Oh,
the
their
full year
PED
bans,
suspensions.
the
Nuts.
international free agency money gone, the first round
Yep.
picks gone. Like,
Yep.
if the Astros get accused of this from 2017 up till now,
Yep.
I'm saying they're missing first round picks for the next couple years. Their free agent money's gone. Their
Yeah.
fines are they're losing everything that they made winning.
To me, it's one thing if the team was doing it and they missed the playoffs or they weren't very good or they did that. But like, this is a team that, because they did it, they won a World Series, made it to the ALCS last year and the World Series this year. It's like, it's clearly making them a better team than what they are. You got
And
to you got to
they're a good
serve
team.
some.
Nobody can dispute
Yeah.
that.
Oh
They're a
no,
good
there's a
team,
lot of talent on that team. Don't get me wrong.
but this helps.
Yeah.
There's no arguing that.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of punishment for the fact that, like, I mean, I don't like the Yankees, but I feel like they would have had a serious shot to win a World Series if this is what's going on. Like, you go up against an Astros team that has a decided advantage against you, and like, you saw it. Like, the Astros were just better at coming through in the clutch, and obviously it's a little easier when you know what's coming.
And like I just want to say, like, we've expected this, no? Or we've suspected this.
Yeah,
No?
from
They've been
someone.
accused of cheating
Yeah,
beating around the bush for the last
yeah,
like 3 years.
yeah,
How many times, just think about it, how many times in a game have you heard even Buck Martinez say, any reporter, any announcer
yeah,
say, oh, the Astros are a high-tech organization. They have all these advantages. They're
yeah,
using these high-tech cameras to get the spin rate of balls, this, that, this, that. The number of times that I've heard the word high-tech camera, and you want to tell
yeah,
me they weren't cheating, like,
yeah.
we've known that they've been doing up to something for years.
It's been one of those things. It's like they're rubbing it in your face that you know they're doing it, but like, you have no physical proof, and that's been the thing
Exactly.
for years, right? It's like,
Exactly.
there's no way to prove that yes, the Astros are cheating, and we know it. But like, what are you going to do? Nobody on that team's going to come forward and be like, yeah, look, this is how we're doing it,
Yeah.
because it's stupid.
I would
But
be I would be real curious
mhm,
if, and again, pending that this all comes out that it was true and there's consequences, how many people in the baseball world knew about this? You got
yeah, I'd
anybody
like,
who's been in the Astros organization in the last
yeah,
3 years knows about it. That
well, the big,
includes Alex Cora, who's now the
that's what I was going
manager
to say.
of the Red Sox.
Yep. That's caused a big rift too, right? Because they're like, well, if
Yes.
Cora did it in Houston, who's saying he didn't do it in Boston? And I'm like, yeah, I
I
mean,
think
it's
I
a
think
different.
that's above the manager.
Yeah, I think that's a whole organization thing. The one thing we kind of brushed over too in the explanation of everything, there was a Astros executive that literally sent out an email that said, like, look, we're looking into essentially this cheating scandal is what they were doing. We're looking into how we can help our cameras and this and that, and they sent it to a bunch of different people, and just thought maybe they'd never get caught. I guess I don't really know what the thought process there was, but essentially they sent it out to all these people that are much smarter than us, and they're like, help us figure out how we can do this. And this is the system that they came up with. Was they had the cameras and they could relay it, and it worked. Good for them. But now you have physical evidence of the fact that you knew this was going on throughout the organization. It wasn't just a player thing. Like, this was top to bottom. Everybody knew it. And I mean, it's I'd be interested to see if this is only. It's interesting. I'd like to know if this is only an Astros thing, because maybe it's just like they have the talent that's getting it done, and they have better hitters, and that's why it's working for them. But like, there's got to be other teams that are doing this, right?
Again, don't get me wrong. They have a good team, and they have good development with their technology. Like we've seen that. Verlander rejuvenated, Cole rejuvenated, Lance McCullers turns into a stud. Like all these arms who, using their high tech cameras and everything, they've really helped their careers. But as with anything, too much of something can be a bad thing, and looks like they kind of got carried away with it here. But back to your point about if it's just an Astros thing, I'm going no.
Yeah,
no.
I highly doubt it. I mean, there's a lot of shifty people in this world, and I guarantee there's a handful of other teams that are it's not a bad idea if you don't get caught. Like, I'm not like, realistically, like, you know what? I would love to know what's coming at me every time I'm at the plate. You think I'm going to say no if somebody goes, here, this is what we're going to do? I'm going to be like, okay, that's fine. Maybe we'll never get caught. I'll take a nice World Series ring.
Yeah. Cheating's always been a part of sports. Cheating's always been a part of baseball.
Yep.
But I think, to me, this is well across the line. But you want to talk about Yelich?
Do you want to talk about Trevor Bauer first?
I was just going to add, well, you said, there's not too much on Yelich, just you said other teams. I don't know if you saw the video.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's looking out somewhere, like they have something up on the screens. Yeah. And if you're glancing out on every pitch, and so basically Darvish, that's why he stepped off the mound, he said.
Yeah.
And Yelich is like, trust me, bro, like, we don't need to look against you. Like, we got you set. Like,
that was my favorite comeback, was he's just like, because the tweet came out about Yelich looking down the line and stuff. And like, I don't take as much into that, because like, I've done that. And like, essentially I look out at the outfielders, see where everyone's playing. Like, it's one of those things you do as a ball player. You take a look at it.
It was noticeable to me. It was a noticeable.
Okay. Either way, so they tweeted out, and like, this is what it looks like. This is what he's doing. And Darvish goes, yeah, this is why I stepped off. And Yelich, being the savage that he is, comes back with the trust me, bro, we don't need help against you.
Yeah. Which is ruthless. I thought it was hilarious. I love Yelich.
Love it.
You love him. Everybody knows. But I also love Donaldson replied to it. He's like, fill me in, bro. Give me the notes. I can use some help.
It was a good Twitter battle between them. It didn't end up being much to it other than that.
That's just relating to the other
it's
teams.
Fun. It's fun to see the character out of these guys.
Definitely.
You see it out of Trevor Bauer a lot, and this situation wasn't exempt. He came out, and I had the tweet up here. Give me a sec. So he quote tweeted a tweet from the Score about the story I was just talking about. He said, where they said a front office executive reportedly suggested using cameras for stealing signs, and that was basically the whole email thing. So Trevor Bauer quote tweets it and goes, "Oh, so you mean to tell me the guy videoing our dugout in the 2018 ALDS wasn't just doing that to protect against the Indians stealing signs? Who would ever guess that he was up to no good? What a revelation!" But my favorite part of it was, he goes, "Maybe MLB will do something about it this time." But no.
And to me, that's the other big thing here.
Yeah,
this could be a heavy discipline, like severe consequences, or a little slap on the wrist. Don't do it again. They move their camera, and away we go.
Yeah, it was John Boy was talking about it in an interview, actually. He goes, what I want to happen, what I think is going to happen are two different things. He goes, what I want to happen is I want to see them throw the book at them so teams are scared to do this for the future. But he goes, what I think happened, and I think what we've seen happen in the past, is that they handle it internally, they give them a fine, they do something like that, and they just try and make it go away.
Yeah.
Which I think is the most likely case, but I agree with him in the sense that, like, you need to make an example of this. Like, you can't have teams being like, fuck, $2 million fine, done deal, I'll do that, no problem. Yeah. If we can go and not get caught and still end up with our World Series rings and still get all these records and have an MVP on our team, sure, I'll do that, no problem, thanks.
By young winners.
Yep. It's one of those things. I think you need to set the precedent where it's like, look, man, you can't do this. Like, we will come down hard. And I don't know if that's where the MLB's leaning. Part of me gives it hope because they're taking so long for this. It's been what, 2 weeks, a week, a week since it came out, I think. And they haven't even said anything. Yeah, they haven't even said anything. Like, they have not put out a word on this so far. And I mean,
they said that they were gonna launch an investigation. Oh, really? That's a good idea.
Good call. Yeah,
Like fires?
I might think of that. Um, so I don't know. Maybe that gives me a little bit of hope. Like they're taking their time. They really want to know what's going on before they pass any judgment. But on the flip side, that could be just them trying to weather the storm and being like, well, if we just let this sit for a
Yeah,
bit,
let
maybe
it
people
settle.
will let it go. But
I will
shout out
address
John
it
Boy
when
for
season
not letting
starts.
that go because he just keeps on tweeting about it.
Yeah. You got much else on it?
Astros fans, I hate them because they're hilarious to watch on Twitter because
Yeah.
anytime John Boy tweets, they reply and they come out with the dumbest things.
So hurt.
Oh, it's like they can't. Their big argument right now is that all the videos he's putting out are doctored, and he's adding these sounds and this and that.
Yeah.
And he goes,
Yeah,
"Look,
he's going into the back end and coding it and animating
yeah,
the different reactions. Yep.
yeah." His big thing was he's like, "Look, people are just sending me game footage, and I'm just adding the subtitles. Like I'm not touching this. I'm just adding in
Yeah.
when you can hear the bang,
I don't know how to
and
do
that's
that.
it."
Sorry.
Yeah, it's just like, man, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but like this is what your team did, so maybe start to grow up and admit it because like it's happening. Like it's
He
not.
just needs to send a mass reply like, "Hey, remember the World Series that you cheated and lost?"
Yeah. Yeah, he sent a tweet out the other day and he's like at Twitter, how do I block an entire area code from tweeting at me? Like, I
That's
love
good.
it. It's just they're brutal. I hate it. I hate the fact that they can't admit that this is what their team is doing and they're trying.
Yeah.
Like if this was the Jays, I'd be like, man, what a shit move. Like I'm not trying to defend what they did. I'm like, that's a
Yeah.
shit move. I'm not like
I
it
mean,
sucks.
easier said than done, obviously, but I think we can, as
Yeah,
baseball players, we can both relate that that's
yeah.
not
No, you don't
acceptable.
do that. You don't do
Let
that.
me pose one to you here.
Yep.
If since baseball cheating's always been around,
Yep.
if you could get one of, I'll add I'll add the whole pine tar and sticky substance into
Yep.
this,
Okay.
but
Yep.
if you could eliminate one of the three main styles of cheating,
Okay.
severe punishments, anything's never happening again. Is it PEDs? Is it the sticky substances for pitchers? To me, that's not even relevant, but that's the other
No.
biggest scandal. And then cameras. That
I think it to me PEDs make the game more fun.
That's what I was gonna say.
So it's one of those things like I get the big crackdown. Like it's not fair to the guys that aren't doing it,
Yeah,
obviously.
and
But
to me, the biggest thing with the PEDs is like you said. I'm not advocating it. You don't go
no,
out there and yeah,
no.
but I think the biggest thing is just how inconsistent they've been over time with their whole
Yeah.
PD things, like how they just specifically targeted A-Rod when it's like, hey, half his team is
Mm-hmm.
probably using the same stuff from the same guy.
Yep.
And to me, it's just, I think that, just to put this in perspective, I think this is a way bigger deal. Stealing signs
Yeah.
has always been around, but when
Yeah.
it comes down to cameras, videos, relaying signs,
Yep.
every pitch of every at bat for what, 3 years now?
Mm-hmm.
This is the biggest scandal we've seen in a while.
You're going above this hits the levels of like P game and like you respect your
The
opponents, you do all
code.
that. Yeah,
Respect the
exactly.
code.
It's one of the sports where their code is bigger than pretty much I would say it's bigger than pretty much every sport. Like every sport has a code, but this is one where it's like you follow it or you wear a fastball to the teeth. Essentially,
Yeah.
has been the thing for years, right?
Legit.
So this is one where like the PED stuff, it's like it's not as hard in that code. It's like you know what, a lot of guys do it. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
The pine tar thing, it's also not good. But like this, where you're going above and beyond to try and steal signs, like stealing signs realistically is against the code. Like
Yeah.
a lot of guys
Oh
don't
yeah.
like it. So you're going above and beyond and using technology to steal these
Oh,
signs.
times 100.
Yeah, you're now hitting the point of like betting against teams and stuff like that and like
Yeah.
throwing games. It's like that when you're affecting the outcome of a game significantly, that's when it becomes a problem. And it'll be interesting to see them play against other teams this year.
Can
Whether
yeah, for sure. I was just gonna say, did you see the JR and MJ betting story from this week?
no,
So I'll just throw it in here as a little side story. You can check it out online. Jeremy Roenick was, I forget what he was on the other day, but he was talking about how when he was still playing and Michael Jordan was still playing, they went out and they were golfing one day. It was an off
okay,
day for JR, but the Bulls played that night. They had like
yeah,
a 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning tee time. They had some
yeah,
money on it. I forget how much, but JR wins. and they've been drinking.
Yeah.
And Michael Jordan goes, all right, double or nothing. And he's like, all right, like, you sure? Like, you have a game tonight. Like, don't you need a pregame nap or something here? Like, you're good? And he's like, no, we're good. Double or nothing. We're going again. So they ended up playing, that's almost 8 hours of golf, 36 holes, drinking the whole time. He said minimum, absolute minimum. He had 12 beers out there. And at the end, JR is like, man, like, you guys are playing tonight. Like, there's no chance you win. Like, I just watched you crush beers all day.
Yeah.
Golf 36 holes. There's not a chance you win. And MJ's like, all right, triple or nothing. I put up over 40 points tonight and we win. Triple or nothing. And he's like, yeah, no shot. Like, you're ridiculous. Like, no chance I'm taking that. Like, 100%. And MJ goes out and puts up 55 points, and the Bulls win by 30. And JR's like, that's when I knew he was the biggest freak of all time.
That's incredible. I heard something about him betting on himself like that, but that's hilarious.
I thought it was a funny sport, not baseball, obviously, but funny story to relate in there. And
related a bit. I love it.
But is that not almost betting on the game?
Yeah, it is 100%. But at least he's betting on his team.
He's betting for his team to win. Yeah.
Yeah, which is
not Pete Rose stuff.
Well, Pete Rose bet on his own team too. That's the thing that bothers me is that Pete Rose never bet against his team. He bet on his team. No,
I thought it went both ways. No,
I'm pretty sure. From what I heard, he was betting on his own team, and he wasn't even on the team. He was an executive of the team.
Yeah.
Which, if that is the case, I don't like it. But I know Shoeless Joe was literally betting against his own team.
Oh yeah. He's like, we got crushed last night.
Yep.
Take the spread against us.
Yeah. So, I mean, that sucks. But if you're betting on yourself, that's confidence. What are you going to do? Especially when you're on the team. It's still probably illegal, but...
And I'll just... One last thing on this. I know we've spent a while on it, but...
Yep, I figured we would.
All the steroid guys aren't in the Hall of Fame.
Yep. They're closer now.
All the gambling guys, not in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
How about the perennial sign-stealing guys? Obviously, this isn't Jose Altuve's idea. This isn't Justin Verlander's idea.
But you didn't.
Does this put an asterisk on their name?
100%. I think every person that stepped through this team is going to be like Carlos Beltran's a big one because he's got a shot at a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
Maybe like his numbers aren't quite there, but like
my thing with him and Verlander would be they're Hall of Fame career guys, whether they went to the Astros or not.
Well, didn't Beltran start as an Astro?
Yeah, but they weren't doing that back then. I don't even think they had cameras back then.
Technology didn't exist back then.
They had flip phones.
It's just, it's tough. Like that puts a big asterisk. Like you fucked up the game. It's like it's kind of the Pete Rose situation where Pete Rose never did this when he was playing, and it didn't affect his career at all. But like you went against the integrity of the game and
the code.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Especially because he did it while he was still playing. It's like, does that put enough of a mark to be like, sorry, dude, not happening? Justin Verlander is a different case for me because he came in at the deadline and it was already in place. I don't know. Like, no, he didn't tell anyone about it, but like, would you?
No.
I don't think I would either. I wouldn't be the Mike Fiers of the situation either. I don't think I don't risk my own. I don't know. I guess Mike Fiers is a legend, but
even if you said 5 teams in the league are doing this, the other 25 teams are still going to want Mike Fiers. Like it's not like it's not like every team in the league's like, oh, he snaked, we don't want him. They're like, oh, cheers, thanks to this guy.
Yeah, appreciate it, dude. I don't know. It'll be real interesting to watch once Verlander's career comes to a close and once Beltran hits those Hall of Fame ballots, whether or not this affects him or not. I think it's got a good chance.
Baseball Hall of Fame, we'll get into that this summer when the inductions come out, but what a schmozzle that is.
Yeah.
It's wild.
We don't really need to go into it, I guess.
No, there's nothing on it today, but...
No. We've got enough long conversations to go through.
Yeah.
We've made it through nearly half an hour, and we haven't even hit the awards yet, so that's pretty good.
Let's hop into it right now.
Yep. The awards came out, and we weren't terrible at our picks.
Pretty hot.
You did well. I did interesting. Brandon did okay, but the picks were good. I'm happy I got the AL MVP pick wrong now because fuck Alex Bregman and everything he stands for. Mike Trout, though, that's one I kind of want to get into.
Round of
It's
applause,
about
come on.
time, right? Like this guy, it's nuts. Like he's always finished, except for 1 year where he was hurt. He's finished first or second every single year.
And even the year he was hurt, he finished 4th.
Yeah.
Is that
So
good?
like,
I think
that's not bad. Fourth is pretty
good.
high, right?
Yeah,
It's
I think
not.
that's top
Yeah,
four. Top
better
4?
than you. Top
Yeah.
top four. That's more than top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. It's about time. Like he kind of got some respect because his team sucks, and that's been his issue every year that he doesn't win it. He's hands down the best player in baseball. He's probably the best player in baseball history.
Yep. And that's all I was trying to preach last week when we were talking about it. And you guys made valid points, and both your guys were valid candidates. All I was trying to say, and I know you and Brandon both agreed. I'm not saying you didn't. He's one of the best players ever. In my eyes, he is the best player ever, and he doesn't win MVP trophies because people are like, "Oh, he won last year. Oh, we know he's this good. Oh, he's the easy pick." Guess what? He is the easy pick for a reason.
Because he's the best.
Amazing. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's halfway through his career, probably even less, and he's the GOAT.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah. There's no denying it. He's better than some Hall of Famers right now. Like
he's
before his career.
Half the Hall of Famers right now.
Yeah. At a halfway point of his career, probably. Yeah. Maybe not half.
Maybe even less.
Yeah. Nuts.
He can mess around at DH.
He's got a 10-year deal with the Angels right now, right?
Yeah, and after that, he'll still get a multi-year deal.
Yeah, and I don't think he's played 10 yet, has he? He might have played 10.
I think he's 8 or 9.
8, yeah, so he's not even at the halfway point of his career, and he's already past Hall of Famers. Guys, the best ever play. I won't deny that. Bellinger, on the other hand, I like it. I don't hate the pick.
No.
I think he was far and away. Yeah. He was far and away the best player in the NL this year. If Yelich stays healthy, it's a different race, I think. But obviously he didn't.
We both said that. Brandon had Rendon, he was probably number 2.
Didn't get any first place votes.
No, but he was
crazy.
He led in second and third place votes. No.
Yeah. I believe he was up there because I know Yelich got a handful of first place votes, so that put him ahead of Rendon. But it's crazy that he's still an underappreciated guy, even though he's in the MVP category every year. You saw what he did in the postseason and on the biggest stage, and it's just they're still no, he's not that good. It's all right, man. Sure. Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? It sucks, but it's not. I don't think he cares.
I think the worst part about that is just. You got to think that's an extra $20 million in his pocket if he wins that.
Yeah.
If it's a 10-year deal, he gets an extra 2 a year for winning the MVP.
Yep. Well, on the flip side, I think Bellinger's still on his rookie deal, right?
Oh, he is going to have a bank account.
Yep. So
he's
going to make more. Yep. Yeah. Great. Wow. I'm sure they don't pay him.
Yeah.
Moving on. The Cy Young went to Verlander and DeGrom. They're second for both of them. It's crazy that they're both going through their second Cy Young because Verlander feels like he's been around for about 2 decades.
It feels like he's won 5.
Yeah, he's just been so dominant for so long, and you just think this guy's just a perennial Cy Young winner. But nope, he's got as many as DeGrom, and DeGrom's on his 6th year, 5th year.
Yeah, and it's back to back.
And he won back to back. It's good. It's crazy to see just how dominant DeGrom is if you're able to go out and do that so early on in your career.
Oh, yeah. He's an animal, man. I know not many people watch Mets games, but he is must-watch television every game he's on.
This is a guy who 2 years ago I personally didn't think he had anywhere near this in him.
Was it 2 or 3 years ago that we thought Syndergaard was the better pitcher?
Yeah. It was the year before his Cy Young year. He was not very good. No. And you're looking at him is this guy a bust in a sense? He had one good year when he showed up, and then he's kind of been bleh ever since. Yeah. But now he's just no, I am definitely the best pitcher in the NL, possibly in the majors. Yeah, I don't hate either pick.
You guys both got Verlander. I had Cole, which we said was 1A, 1B.
Yep.
I'm not upset that I lost that one. I think Verlander deserves it, and we said all year. They're the 1A, 1B pitchers on the Astros. Yep. They're the 1A, 1B pitchers in the AL.
Yep. You knew one of them was going to win it. Yeah. And it's a coin flip to figure out who, essentially.
Yep. You didn't actually have a guess. You gave it to both DeGrom and Scherzer on the last pod.
I had 2 NL Cy Young winners because I just get to hand out
We'll give you half the mark but Brandon and I each had DeGrom. So, again, that's consensus. He was an animal this year. Good for him, back-to-back. I don't know the numbers because we're not a big research pod, but I feel like back-to-back Cy Youngs are very rare.
That's pretty good. I can't recall very many, but
I would assume Kershaw maybe has one somewhere along the way.
I definitely think I remember one of them when he had like a
probably
0.89 ERA or something stupid.
Probably Pedro before that.
Yep, Randy Johnson could be up there. Roger Clemens maybe.
All right, you keep talking. I'm gonna do some research here.
Okay. Manager of the year. Actually, there's a cool record to go along with that since we're kind of on the records. You nailed both. Congratulations.
Are we?
It's called their manager winning it. Crushed it. Good job.
Yes, sir.
I didn't disagree with your pick even when I put it down, but like I just thought Kevin Cash deserved his due, and it sucks that he still hasn't won one despite what he's done in Tampa Bay. It's like I feel like next year he should get it just because, like, you know what, man, you were the second best guy 2 years in a row, and it was like 1 and 1A for 2 years, and it was just sorry that the other team was a little bit better. And
yeah, there's no disputing he's done great for them, and he's one of the best managers in baseball. I'm sure this means he's going to go to the Cubs soon with his new mindset, a la Joe Madden. But no, he very well could have won it. I'm just a big Rocco Baldelli-Bardowny guy, so
Bardowny. Rocco Bardowny deserved it, man. He took a Twins team that everyone except for you thought was going to be trash and turned them into what you thought they were, which is good for him, man. He turned it around.
He even got Jose Barrios into the damn near top 10 Cy Young. I'll take it.
Hell of a year. I loved it.
Before we hop onto the NL,
okay,
can I throw in my Cy Young talk here?
Yeah, go for it.
Did some research here. Big research pod.
First time in the baseball podcast history, but we did some research.
So, pretty much, I was right about Pedro Martinez in the AL. He's the last back-to-back AL Cy Young winner, 2099.
Yeah.
He went 23-4, and then 2000 he had a 1.74 ERA. So I think he was deserving.
Is he good? Does that mean he's good?
He's my favorite, man. Like,
he's just a personality too. That was the one
just
thing
such a great guy. The NL though, there's basically been like 10 or 12 all-time NL Cy Young winners. 2017 and 2016, Scherzer won it. Back years with the Nationals.
Not that long ago.
Not that long ago. And then 2013 and 2014, Kershaw won it again. Not that long ago.
That was the years I remembered.
2008 and 2009, Tim Lincecum won it. My second favorite pitcher behind Pedro Martinez.
You won back-to-back?
Yeah.
Remember how dominant he was?
Oh, my favorite. Him and Pedro are 1A, 1B all-time favorites for me. And then I'm just gonna drop some history on you here because these are all literally back-to-back winners.
Okay.
From 99 to 2002, 4 years, Randy Johnson won.
4 years in a row.
Yep.
Yeah.
From 92 to 96, so 5 years in a row, Greg Maddux won.
Oh, right. He did exist.
Yeah. So, we were off.
We were a little off.
We got Pedro right.
Yeah, I said
we got Kershaw
Randy Johnson.
right.
I said Randy Johnson.
You did say Randy Johnson.
Roger Clemens never did it, eh?
I just X'd out of the tab, but I think he went one and then a year off and then another.
Okay, that makes sense. Huh. He was also competing with some good pitchers at those points of his career.
Goddamn, shout out to Tim Lincecum.
Yeah.
If you have 2 minutes of your time, go search Tim Lincecum on YouTube. Like his
good years.
Just his wind up, his curveball. Yeah, for real.
don't look at like the Texas Rangers comeback years.
If I could take one pitch from any pitcher and just have it, it would be Lincecum's curveball. I'm taking it over Kershaw's. I'm taking it over anything, man. That thing was a work of art. I wouldn't be on this podcast right now. I'd be probably on the Jays. Actually, definitely.
His delivery too was just so fun. Like it was
the freak.
You'd never seen it before, and like that might have been why he did so well for that little stretch, is because it's like, what the hell is this guy doing on the mound?
Oh, for those years, he was the most dominant pitcher. It's not even like I don't know.
He was dominant all season, dominant in the playoff. Like he was just so good for that Giants team.
It was almost 5 years, no? His reign, kind of.
It was like 3 or 4, give it. I think I don't know if I give him.
Yeah, he had 4 straight All-Star appearances.
Yeah.
Won 3 World Series. Had 2 Cy Youngs.
He wasn't much of a role in the last World Series, though. I don't think. Like I think he was their fourth
No,
starter.
no.
That was
But
behind like Matt Cain. Remember when Matt Cain was good too?
yeah, that was wild. They had so many guys that were just
crazy. Barry Zito, a couple other
um,
names.
who's that other dude that was on starting nine for a bit? Wilson?
Brian
Brian
Wilson?
Wilson? Brian Wilson?
Brian Wilson was the best closer in baseball history for about 2 years.
And if you saw him, you'd think that he probably just got out of jail.
Yep. Insane. Now he just
Anyway.
fell off the face of the earth. Never heard of him again. Back to the managers. Back to history, because Mike Schilt of the St. Louis Cardinals won in the NL, and he's the first manager ever to win a Manager of the Year award while never playing professional baseball in his life, which I thought's crazy.
I think that's sweet.
Like somebody brought up, or like, oh, Joe Madden. It's like, no, Joe Madden played minor league ball. It's like this guy never played anything. Like he might have played ball growing up, but like never did he hit the pro ranks. And he managed. He worked he was a scout, and then he was an assistant, and then he worked his way up through the ranks, and then just somehow got himself a managerial position with the Cardinals. And in his rookie year with the Cardinals, right? This is his first year, I think.
Yep.
In his rookie year. Never played pro ball, came in, won himself a Manager of the Year. I mean, that's a story and a half.
Oh, it's incredible. But I will say, like, there's this whole, I don't know, I'd say the last couple of years with, like, all the analytics in every sport, there's been this whole, like, movement, I guess you could say, of people being like, oh, you don't have to play to coach, you don't have to play to coach. And this kind of proves that. And what's the Leafs assistant, Paul McFarland? He was a lawyer. And now all of a sudden he's a Leafs assistant. Like, there's cases. You don't have to. Nobody's saying you have to play pro sports to be a coach. I think it helps. I think just knowing the locker room, understanding the day-to-day operations of a baseball team, a hockey team, whatever.
If you take a look at the AL side, you had Rocco Baldelli, former player, Aaron Boone, former player, and Kevin Cash, former player, all in the finalists.
Yep.
And they like these are names that we know.
You can have a great baseball mind and not play.
Yep.
And he proved that, and I think it's awesome for him. But let's not just hop on this whole train of.
No, I wouldn't say it's a consistent thing where it's like, let's just go find the hidden gem somewhere that knows baseball.
I think it's an awesome stat as opposed to a new trend that every team should follow.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool.
If the Jays hire like some random lawyer now, I'd be upset.
Yeah, I would rather. There's lots of capable names out there, and I would rather one of them. No, I said capable names.
Did you see that whole thing that he was sending his resume to teams?
I heard he was trying to get back in.
That's wild. If you're if you're an MLB manager who is looking for work, you just lost your job, you probably shouldn't have to send your resume to teams. They should probably know who you are.
If you're John Gibbons, I don't know if you want your resume out there.
Might be time to look for a new career.
Your career highlights was when you fought Ted Lilly in the clubhouse.
He should start a baseball podcast.
He should. That guy would be entertaining to listen to.
Podcast.
He should come on the podcast. Push hard.
We didn't have it today.
We should push hard for John Gibbons. Just like DM him for like 40 days straight. Why not?
He was such a player's manager, though. I like that.
Oh yeah.
I'll give him.
Oh yeah.
Anywho,
final award, the Rookie of the Year, was not much of a surprise. Sucks that Pete Alonso took it over. Mike Soroka.
See, I was going to give myself a half vote here because I said I know Soroka won't win. It'll be Alonso, but I want Soroka. But I hammered Soroka pretty good, so I'll take the loss because I'm good.
Yeah, I loved what Soroka did, and he had an incredible year, and a lot of years he's probably the Rookie of the Year. Yeah. Yep. A lot of seasons he comes in, he wins the Rookie of the Year. But Pete Alonso, man, put up records.
Oh, animal!
Just all out great guy too, which is one big thing. It's like voters love him, fans love him. Yankees fans love him, for God's sakes. It's like,
does he not just scream David Wright Jr. to you?
Yeah, exactly. He
just seems like he's going to be the captain, the heart and soul of the Mets for a long time till he gets back injuries.
He's just one of those guys you can't hate, and you're gonna love him until his career runs out. And had a great year. Hopefully he keeps up that pace. I mean, maybe he just fizzles and it was a flash in the pan. But he had a great year, earned the award. Jordan Alvarez. I mean, that wasn't much of a question. Brandon Lau had a big year, but there was no going against that.
No. So, I mean, overall, we did good.
Yeah.
Brandon went 4 for 8.
Yeah.
You went 4.5 for 8. We could
Yeah.
say 4. We could say 5. Whatever you want. I went 6. Could have been 6.5. Could have been 7 if I really wanted to.
If you would have committed
hammer down
to
on Alonso, but you know what? 3 out of 4. That's a 75.
Not bad.
That's a pass.
All around. Shout out to Vlad getting second place votes in the Rookie of the Year, eh?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
I mean,
I'd love to know who did that.
He did have flashes where I was like, yeah, this guy could be the Rookie of the Year, but like he wasn't consistent enough to get.
But he wasn't.
Votes.
No.
But second place, maybe. Do you think he was better than Brandon Lau sometimes?
Nope.
I think.
Well, sometimes, yeah, but I think it's an all-season award.
Some guys are just. I mean, there was a big push on Vlad too. Like I think Vlad's hype was bigger than he was. Not saying he was bad, but like the hype train behind Vlad was like you didn't really have to watch Vlad to know he's probably the best.
He's got a train behind him.
Yeah, attached to him too.
Yeah,
yeah.
Caboose. Did you see that video of him working out like last week?
No, I heard it was nuts though. I heard he's going hard.
He looks tiny.
Really?
Well, like not tiny, obviously,
but for him, what he was.
he went from CC Sabathia to like LeBron James.
So he's a unit still, eh?
Yeah.
Hopefully he's bigger or he's better this year and he's able to withstand the whole year. That'd be great. We're probably done with the awards, eh? Nothing left to say on any of those guys.
No, I think we deserve one, but
yeah, just for everything we've done, huh?
For the sport.
So there are a bunch of qualifying offers that got offered this last week or so. I don't have the number on what the qualifying offer was. But essentially, if you don't know what the qualifying offer is, it's like a predetermined thing that there's a select group of free agents that you have to offer them to in order to like recoup draft picks and stuff if they sign. It's a weird system, but essentially it's the same offer for everybody. And this year there were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them that got offered out. 2 of them were accepted, which is a little rare. Like you don't see it all that much. But in Jake Odorizzi's case,
both of them make sense.
Yeah, I think Abreu's a little bit. They both had huge years, and it's one of those things that you're not going to get a big contract to them because you're not sure if that's what they are. Like Jose Abreu came in hot, and then it was like he fell off the face of the earth for a while, but he had a big year this year. So
how much of that was due to how bad the White Sox were, though?
Yeah,
if you're a power bat charged with driving in runs and there's nobody getting on, yeah, your numbers are going to reflect that.
They've been bad his whole time there, right? So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, you don't really know what he is. So it made sense for him to sign it. Odorizzi came out of nowhere and had a good year for the Twins.
No, that's not out of nowhere.
That's a little bit out of nowhere.
He was gross. He's another one of those no-name guys from the Rays that's always been gross.
But he fell off for so long and then hit with the Twins this year and had a great year. And it's one of those things. It's like, can you do that again? I'm not sure. Take this 1-year deal. He's betting on himself with it. Abreu's betting on himself with the deal.
He's my twin Cy Young pick for next year, by the way.
Oh, you're putting him ahead of Berrios now?
Yeah, Berrios gonna have a tough year.
No, he's falling.
Now lock Berrios in already. Like we might as well do the awards pre-show now. Like Berrios is winning.
The post 2019-2020 awards. Love it. The names that didn't take their qualifying offers, none of them are a surprise. It's Garrett Cole, Steven Strasburg, Anthony Rendon, Madison Bumgarner, Zach Wheeler, Josh Donaldson, Marcell Ozuna. The only 2 that you might expect to pick up that offer would be Donaldson, Ozuna. Because I think Wheeler wants out of New York. I think that was the only reason he turned that down. I just don't think he wants to be there. It's just not.
I don't know what his is dollars wise, so I was curious.
It's I don't know, but it's
Donaldson was never going to take a QO because
I think he's done betting on himself. Yeah, I think he already bet on himself, and I think he proved it. So
I think he won that bet. I think he's run into the casino now.
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't be too shocked if like he thought there was no interest out there and he wanted to do one more year of like, look what I can do. Or this is me. Like I'm not, but he didn't. Ozuna's a bit of a shock because he just got there, but like we said, he's not working.
I said it last week that it just sounded like he wanted out, and ever since then, it's really sounded like he wants out. So, yeah. So you said that too. So here we are.
Yeah. So it's not that big of a shock, but a little bit.
All those guys are going to get paid.
Yeah.
Maybe Jack Wheeler's going to get paid. I don't know.
That'll be a fun one to watch. I think he goes deep without finding a team because I don't know what he's looking for, and
I don't know what he is. I don't know what he is at this point.
I feel like he's kind of like the consolation prize to the five or six other free
Exactly.
agents
Like,
that are above.
he's been great as a 3-4 starter.
Yeah.
But some team's going to pay him to be a 2 starter, and he's going to get that harder matchup, and
Yep.
maybe he's not what they thought he was. I don't know. That'll be interesting.
Yep. We'll see. Yep, it'll be a fun thing to watch. There was one move in the MLB. I think that one big move, one that was kind of the only thing to pay attention to, was Will Smith he didn't get offered a qualifying offer, didn't pick it up or something, but he ended up signing with the Atlanta Braves for 3 years.
Crazy.
I don't have the.
He goes from being an actor, and he was a rapper when he was young, and now he's playing baseball. It's just good
Guys
for Will
gets
Smith.
so many awards in acting and singing, and comes in as a white baseball player somehow, and
very white.
Shuts it down for the Giants, and now he's got a big deal with the Braves. The Braves bullpen could be pretty good. It's a lot of money locked up in it, but
hey man, we both said it last pod. Braves are a wagon.
Yep, they're good. Look out for him again.
Yep.
Adding Will Smith is huge.
It is big.
Big news, big-ish news. No, I wouldn't say big, but came out of the Athletic. They said that Lindor is most likely to be traded to the Yankees, Dodgers, and Phillies. I feel like that's not a huge shock because those teams are always big players in
I feel like
every name.
We could be baseball reporters, and anytime somebody else brings up somebody's name, we just go, "Oh, Yankees and Dodgers are in on them." Like, because you're never wrong.
The Phillies now too. They're kind of in that boat. It's just like, yeah, these three teams that spend all their money, yeah, they're definitely in on those guys.
The White Sox pick somebody first overall. They're like, "Oh, the Yankees are in on them."
Yeah, exactly. It just they're in on everyone.
We talked about Lindor, and we both love him. We both said how good he is and how big of a pickup that'll be. I still don't understand the Indians moving on from him. Brandon had some good points, but I don't get it. And I will stop watching baseball if he goes to the Yankees or the Dodgers.
You might as well wrap it up.
What are the Dodgers going to do with him?
Yeah, you can't.
Is he going to play second?
You can't move Corey Seager to second because like that guy can't do it. I don't think I've ever seen Lindor play. Did he play 2 for the Dominican or Puerto Rico or whatever it was?
I think so.
Because they had that one year where it was Baez, Lindor, and who was the other one? They had another show. Oh, was it Correa? No. They had like 3 stud shortstops, and I don't remember who they rotated.
Something else, I'll do it a little.
So like I don't know. It's tough to take him because you're not moving Corey Seager. Obviously, he's locked in at short. Could you potentially move Lindor to second or third? Maybe, depending on how he feels comfortable with it. But for me, what's the point? Like, there's other names out there. Go and get someone else. Like, fill a hole. Don't fill a spot that you're already plentiful on. Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
And even the Yankees, like we've said, sure, Didi might leave.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. Yeah, they had Correa. Baez was playing 2.
Yeah. Okay, Baez at 2.
Lindor,
Correa at 3. Correa at 3.
I don't know. Actually, this just lists the infielders. What a sight.
I think it makes sense logically to have Correa at 3 because
I'd
he's the bigger
Correa
body.
was 3. Frankie was short. Because I mean, other than that, they had Mike Aviles, T.J. Rivera, and Kenny Vargas. So they had 3 guys.
Could you imagine having that as an infield though? Correa, Lindor, Baez. Like nothing gets through that, right? Like ever.
No.
Unreal. What a team.
Baez, what a beauty.
Do you have anything on Mookie Betts, or we just have his name down because it's still wild that he's in trade rumors?
Oh, he's just been in even more trade rumors.
Yeah,
like it's getting ridiculous. I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't get it. That guy's one of the best players in the majors. Yes, he had an off year.
Are they that certain that they won't be able to bounce back from last year?
You were a World Series champion a year ago with the same roster you currently possess. What?
Yeah.
You're telling me you can't retool a little bit? Not rebuild.
I'd say the only thing is they don't have many prospects left. They traded them all out for that run.
Yeah. But you can build prospects. Like, you can draft guys and, like...
They've always been good at drafting and developing. They always hit on their free agent signings, like international.
I just don't understand going full rebuild mode when you're literally 1 year removed from a World Series title with the same team.
Yeah.
Like, it's the only difference is you have Devers playing better. Like
Sale had a tough year.
Yeah, David Price sucks.
Yeah,
Rick Porcello isn't Rick Porcello anymore.
No.
So yeah, maybe you need a rotation, but like, does
Pedroia is
Mookie
getting
Betts?
old.
Yeah, but they
I
have
don't know.
guys to fill in. Like Michael Chavis came up, had a good year, and
Yep.
he can play all around the diamond. Put him at 2, it's not a problem. I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't
big
know.
rookie too.
Yeah, they have some prospects. Like they're not prospects per se anymore. But Chavis was a rookie last year. Devers was a rookie 2 years ago. He's still young. I'm pretty sure he's still only 22, 23.
Yep.
Like you've got, the rebuild doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and getting rid of one of the best outfielders in baseball just makes zero sense to me.
I
Especially
don't
when,
get it. I don't
especially
get
when
it.
he's such a good clubhouse leader. It's weird, strange, whatever word you want
And
to use. It
even
just
like with the divisions having 5 teams and one moving on basically from each one, that's always a big talk when you're like looking at your window kind of
yeah,
in
yeah,
baseball.
yeah.
Sure, the Yankees are better, but nobody else in that division. Like Tampa's good.
Tampa's good, but they're not
They
like
don't think that they can beat out Tampa if they add a couple pieces.
they don't. Tampa doesn't blow me away going into any season. Like
No,
you're not looking at
exactly.
that roster going,
And
"Ooh,
they'll be good.
Austin
We
Meadows."
can both admit that they'll be good.
Yeah, yeah.
But
They're always
I,
they're always competing.
yeah, I don't see because if they start retooling or rebuilding now instead of retooling, I guess if you want to say,
Yeah,
Toronto's going to get better. Baltimore's going
yeah.
to get better. Well,
You're
maybe,
behind
but
so many. You're behind so many other teams that are going to be better in the next few years. Like even Tampa, I
exactly.
can say will probably retool enough to be a better team than they are now.
Yep.
So like you're now behind the rebuild of at least 2. The Yankees were probably above or further along in their rebuild too. So you're behind at least 3 other
Oh yeah.
teams.
Oh
That's
yeah.
not even
In
counting
your
the
division.
Orioles. Yeah, in your own division. So
I don't get it.
if you're behind 3 teams, that's already you've lost your wild card spot in your own division without even counting anyone else.
I
Just
will
seems like a
say
weird move.
I can't wait for the time that's quickly approaching that the Pats are done, the Bruins are
Yeah,
done, the Red Sox are done, the Celtics are done. Oh,
yeah.
that will bring
There's
so
no more
much
Boston.
joy to my life.
Just get me out of Boston winning. I'm so sick of it. I would love. Could you imagine being from Boston and just like celebrating a championship every 10 minutes?
No, you'd be a cocky little piece of
Oh, I know, but it's just living the dream. We haven't gotten to celebrate anything. We got a Raptors
We
championship.
probably won't. We probably won't.
No, no,
We got the Raptors, and I didn't even
yeah,
watch till the playoffs.
no. That's like I'm not a big basketball guy. I love watching the Raptors win. Don't get me wrong, but like they're not my team. I don't strive to see them win.
They're
If they win
damn
it,
good
great.
this year.
It's a party if they win, but it's
Yeah,
I'm not pushing to be like, yeah, let's go Raptors. I'm like, let's go Leafs or Jays and give us something to actually cheer about this year.
yeah, diehards.
Yep.
You got much else to add?
Go
I got
ahead.
one more if
All
you're.
right. All right, give her then. I got nothing left.
I was just gonna say we didn't talk about Josh Hamilton last week. I
Okay.
don't know if you saw. No,
I missed it. No.
October 30th.
Yep.
Site's closed. Yeah, so October 30th, he was accused of beating up his daughter, hitting her, throwing chairs at her, throwing her into the wall. Um, yeah, so it was just a felony charge,
Okay.
but he had to post $35,000 bail. Um, so he has 3 daughters. He's separated from his wife because, yeah,
His
tough
life
situation.
took a turn
That's
quick.
all I was gonna say, man. Like
He
you feel bad for him. You
yeah.
really do. Like
That
we all
that
know
guy
substance abuse and alcohol
yeah. So
abuse,
the
and
thing with him too is he had that substance abuse and alcohol abuse problem early in his career and he beat it. And he was doing great. And then he had that whole situation
yeah,
in was it LA or Texas where he threw the ball of fan went tumbling down and died.
I
And
think it was the end of Texas. Yeah,
was it Texas? So
yeah,
after that, he just spiraled again, and like it ruined his career. It
yeah.
brought him back into the whole substance abuse thing, and it's just like it's taking a toll on his life because like this
Oh,
is the stories you're hearing about him. It's such a sad story, man, from start to finish with him, and you feel for
it
him.
really is. Yeah, like you said, he was one of the best players in the league, man. Like
Yeah,
he won an MVP. He was a
yeah.
five-time All-Star. He won a batting title, which not many people do. Four-time Silver Slugger, ALCS
Had
MVP.
had one of the craziest performances at a home run derby you've ever seen
Oh,
before live.
that was probably the most electric one until this year.
Yeah, it was
He was
crazy.
the
He
first
didn't even
overall
win it.
pick. First overall pick going into the MLB. Yeah, that was wild.
Set the record for home runs in a row and didn't win it. I was like,
Even with all the problems that he had late in his career, he was a career 290 hitter, which is crazy for a power hitter.
yeah,
It sucks. Like
it's tough.
yeah.
It's tough to see stories like that and guys just have their life crumble because of it. Shit, there was actually something that one of the I don't want to misspeak on this because there was a Rangers prospect, I think it was mid Twins prospect.
Hey, you talk about the Twins.
Yeah, so there was one of the prospects, Ryan Costello, he was found dead at age 23, which I don't have the full story. I haven't actually looked up on it, but you're kind of starting to see a few of these stories more and more. It's kind of getting a little frightening. Like there was Oscar Taveras not too long ago, and then Yordano Ventura was early in his career. Like these guys are young, and it's like it's tough to see their careers ripped out from underneath them because of something like this. And I don't have the full story.
In there.
Yeah, he was early in his career too.
The one this year on the Angels.
Mm-hmm. Tyler Skaggs.
Yeah,
Tyler Skaggs.
Yeah.
Just all these guys.
Tough, man. Tough. And I'm not gonna say that this is correlated to all of them, but I'm gonna just put it on the record here. Yeah. We need less games in a baseball season.
Yep, you're taking
for so many reasons, but I think the biggest reason is just the health, mentally and physically, of the players.
Yep. So
it's too much of a grind.
This one almost plays into your point a little bit because apparently the preliminary indications suggest he died of natural causes, which like dying of natural causes at 23 years old, that's not really a thing.
Yeah. And you see so many overdoses and obviously a few tragic scenarios. Yeah. And it's because their bodies need these, or not need, I shouldn't say, but
it helps.
They're given these pills and everything from the trainers, from the teams, from the organizations to help them because it's such a grind. And then they're not able to handle it because that's not what these are intended for. That's not how it's supposed to go.
Lots of people aren't built to sustain that too, right?
It's crazy,
not,
man.
The human body is not meant to take such abuse.
And even just bringing it back to a lighter note, like personally, I don't get 162 games in 180 days, 190 days. It's ridiculous. You don't need that.
I think the Jays
bring it down to 21 days off. Bring it down to 120.
Yep.
The product on the field is now better.
Yep. Sure, you fuck with records and stuff, but honestly, who cares? Like, are we more worried about records or are we more worried about player safety?
Safety.
Plain and simple.
I think it's pure safety, and even just from the MLB standpoint, like I said, the product on the field is better because these guys are rested. They're more invested in it. They're like, hey, it's less games now. This game matters, whereas opposed to it didn't before. Yeah. You're still going to sell out. They're still going to make as much money because now fans are like, oh, there's 45 less games that I can go to.
You have to go, right?
Exactly.
You don't get those games where you don't get the games where nobody shows up because there's less of them, and you have to go to these ones because you don't get those other games.
Exactly. And we're both huge baseball fans. How many games would you say you watch a year?
Watch
this year. Say the Jays, and then say around the league total.
This year was a bit less for me because like the Jays were pretty trash, so I didn't catch very many. Maybe I'll catch 60, 70.
I was gonna say 50 to 60 this year,
and then maybe like a handful from other teams if I got nothing else to watch and I'm like, hey, there's a ball game on.
I'd say a little over 100 for me around the league, and it shouldn't be that. You should the Leafs. I don't miss a game unless I have a game. I don't miss a game.
Yeah,
and that's the way it should be. And that's 82 games that we're still devoting ourselves every time.
Yeah, like I'll miss maybe 5 or 6 Leaf games.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's only because like I have something to do and I'm not going to be able to catch the game.
Exactly.
Like,
and even
if
then
I'm
you're
not
on
doing anything. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm updating it the whole time. Like
no free ads.
I don't keep as much tabs on the Jays. Like I follow them and I like to know when they're winning and how they're doing and stuff like that. But I'm not like every game like, oh, who's doing what, who's scoring, who's hitting home runs. Like
you can't. Because you can't.
No, you can't follow it.
It's not literally reasonable. It's not realistic.
It's every day, and you can't. Nobody has enough time to look at that.
That's coming from 2 diehard baseball fans.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, to the average fan, that's tough.
All right. Well, that just about does it.
I think so.
Remember to buy hoodies. Order form's closing up soon. Everybody check it out. You can find the link on any of our socials. It's just a simple spreadsheet. Get Brant the money. E-transfer's on there. Get one of us the money.
Yeah. If you can't figure out the spreadsheet, let one of us know, because I've had issues with that. Like, a bunch of people can't get it to work, but most of the guys that are on the team have an idea of how to get it working. So if you do want one, you can't get it to work, message one of us. We'll throw your name down. Yeah, I think that's just
I'm sure you'll hear from us once free agency gets going. We'll have a podcast out.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep dragging these on as long as we can, because there keeps being news, and as long as the Astros keep giving us shit to talk about, we can keep podcasting.
You'll get to look at these mustaches again.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a third person at some point.
Maybe he'll have a tattoo.
Yeah, he might by the next time. We don't know. It'll be a nice, pretty tattoo. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate it if you do. Have a good one. Cheers.